Welcome back to Best Pod Available. We're a day late on giving you an episode. We wanted to make sure we were ready to go for the very first mock draft here on this channel. The 2025 NFL season is done, meaning it's time for us to lock in for the 2026 NFL draft. The top of the order is set with the playoffs kicking off this weekend. We're not going to waste any time here, Ryan. Let's get right into this. Let's just give the people what they want. They want to see what we've got for this upcoming first round. Rapid fire on these picks. I'm going to start us off with what I think is just a general consensus, obvious pick to this point. There's plenty of things that can happen over the coming months that can turn things for the Las Vegas Raiders for them to maybe want Dante Moore, but we got to go with Fernando Mendoza. Mendoza has been the favorite to this point. He won the Heisman Trophy. He had a stellar performance against Alabama, and depending on how he plays against Oregon this weekend and how Dante Moore plays could impact who ends up being that first overall pick. So I'm going to stick with Mendoza.
It makes a lot of sense, obviously. I'm very curious to see what the Raiders do at head coach now that Pete Carroll is gone, because it's going to be very interesting to see who they potentially pair with a quarterback. Easy one, Joe. Initially, we were like, man, the Jets are not picking really in quarterback range per se. They've been anywhere between from like 3 to 6 the last few weeks leading up to the end of the season, but ultimately they end up getting a number 2 pick, which means that they don't have to necessarily trade up for a quarterback, which is why we thought they have 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. Dante Moore, I think, is the only other quarterback that you will feel comfortable taking in the top 10 right now. If he declares from Oregon, super smooth passer that I think gives the Jets life in the quarterback position they haven't had in several years.
All right, I know that this is going to be a pick that is going to make Cardinals. Say it again.
Controversial? Is it a controversial pick? I like controversial picks.
No, it's not a controversial pick. I think that this is going to make a lot of Cardinals fans crash out, because whenever you suggest that the Cardinals are going to take an athletic linebacker who is a hybrid and plays multiple roles in a defense, they're sick of it. They're really sick of it with Zaven Collins and Isaiah Simmons, but you guys need to not complain about this. Arvell Reese is a ridiculous athlete. I know that this is going to get a lot of eye rolls. He is not like Zaven Collins. He is not like Isaiah Simmons. He has far better instincts on tape than both of those players. And here was the difference between Arvell Reese and those two guys. Those guys were tweeners. Those guys were players that the NFL didn't really know where they would fit best. There was too much of a blend between safety and linebacker for Isaiah Simmons to work. He didn't play one position directly. Zaven Collins was a pass rusher a lot at Tulsa, and then this expectation that he was going to play linebacker with his build, it just didn't work. Reese did both things at Ohio State, and he showed strong natural instincts, and we were able to see that he was really key for Ohio State's success this year. I just don't overthink this. Take Arvell Reese, take the best athlete, and move on.
You know, Cardinal fans didn't hear anything after you said Arvell Reese, right? Your whole explanation, they're not even listening.
Yeah, I hate drafting good football players. I hate drafting good football players, man. I absolutely hate it.
I know we have to move quickly here, but I just saw a mock that had number 3 overall pick being Jeremiyah Love. Which one would make them crash out more? A running back at number 3 or a hybrid linebacker at number 3? Which would crash out more?
The one thing here, we don't know who the head coach is going to be. This is one of those teams that they really could go in a number of directions.
They could. I agree. Tennessee Titans fans are going to hate me for this one, Joe, because I know a lot of Tennessee Titans fans with my affiliation with A to Z Sports. I don't like Ruben Bain at number 4. I don't. I know they need a pass rusher. They need a defensive end.
I'm shocked.
I get it. I would not take Ruben Bain at number 4. I am going to go with Carnell Tate, the wide receiver from Ohio State, at number 4, Joe. Probably a touch high for me. I'd rather be in the low 10s than the high 10s on Carnell Tate. But Carnell Tate at 6'2 plus, long arms, can win above the rim, gives you an outside presence that they just don't have for Cam Ward right now. When you have a franchise quarterback on a rookie contract, you need to be able to continue to build around him and add weapons. I think Carnell Tate brings something that they just don't have enough of in that wide receiver room, or have any at all in that wide receiver room right now.
It's kind of hell to be sitting in the 4 to 10 range to a degree, because there's really not a lot of guys that fit typical positional value that are worth going in these spots. So there's going to be some weird picks in here. There's going to be some positions that don't typically get picked that high because, and this is an example of it, Carnell Tate's a really good receiver, but I don't think he's a top 5 class in most years. But because there's limited receiving options to a degree in the top 10, and you don't really want to talk yourself into it, you just said Bain or Caleb Downs, it's possible to see this happen. But with that being said, I am going to go with Caleb Downs here with the New York Giants. The Giants defensively have a range of issues. Their run defense was terrible. Their safety play this year was terrible. And I think that you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by taking Caleb Downs. He is extremely instinctual. He's a really good tackler. He's a high character kid. He's one of these dudes that you could see drafted, and his presence alone elevates everything on the back end. Instead of trying to talk through and think about, all right, what linebacker are they going to need to get in free agency or in the draft later on, take a guy who can serve in multiple spots and is going to bring a reliable presence.
A safety's not going in the top 5. Let's see. Number 6 overall for the Cleveland Browns. It's all right, man. It's all right. Number 6, Joe, this is like doomsday for the Cleveland Browns. You know they want a quarterback, but it doesn't matter in this scenario because you don't even have a situation where you can trade up anymore. The fact that the top 2 teams need quarterbacks in this draft, you're not in a situation where it's like, I'm going to trade up and jump the New York Jets. You can't jump either of those teams to get a quarterback if they both want a quarterback. So where the hell do you go from here? I mean, they need offensive line play, but it's not a great offensive line class. Do you want to go with a wide receiver, go with a Jordan Tyson at number 6? I think that has some credence to the argument. Do you want to go for a corner? Like, there's a few spots to go here, but it's not necessarily tremendous value. I just don't like the offensive line class, though. So I'm going to go with Jordan Tyson to at least give whoever the quarterback is for 2026 and beyond, you now have an outside separator, 3-level threat, silky smooth, that can do a lot of things on the outside and work all over the formation. So I'm going to give a Jordan Tyson for the quarterback of the future for the Cleveland Browns. Unfortunately, they're just not in range to find that quarterback of the future right now.
I have an obsession with seeing Jeremiyah Love play for the Washington Commanders. I think that him alongside Jaden Daniels would be the most chaotic and difficult to stop combo in the entire NFC, maybe in the entire NFL in a couple of years. To have 2 dynamic runners of that degree, of that explosiveness, would take the Commanders over the top. It felt like, understandably, Jaden Daniels, the problems this year, him getting hurt was a big reason for it, but I think that not having an array of different weapons in the offense held them back. And most importantly, I think Jaden Daniels will have to run less if they're able to lean on Jeremiyah Love.
Man, the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL takes a running back in the top 7, Joe.
Yeah, deal with it.
Imagine. I'm dealing, man. I'm dealing with it. I'm just letting it percolate in the mind for a second. New Orleans Saints. Weird one here. Tyler Shuck showed a lot of good signs down the stretch of the season. Looks like the quarterback that you can at least build upon for the short-term future here. Offensive line could probably lose some retooling here and there, but again, I don't love this offensive line class. Edge group is very interesting because this is a Bain versus a Keldrick Falk conversation, Joe, because I'm here to tell everybody, and I just want people to understand, the NFL, there's a lot of people that like Falk over Bain because of the more prototypical length, explosiveness, upside conversation. I understand that I'm going to aggravate a lot of people here again, but I'm going to give Keldrick Falk to the New Orleans Saints out of Auburn, 6'6", 280 pounds, sleek, powerful, moves really well, can play in multiple fronts. I'm giving them a little bit of a defensive difference maker if he hits on the NFL level.
All right, for the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm debating going with Ruben Bain. I don't think edge is their most glaring problem. The biggest thing for me here with the Chiefs, and you're in a position in the top 9 to get top choice of one of the receivers that you really like, they were held back by the fact that there was nobody reliable for them to turn to. You got guys dropping passes. You've got just not the same level of dynamic playmaking ability from the receiver room that you've had in the past. You've got a lot of really good players, but I think you need a little bit more juice. Now, I'm debating with myself, do we go Kenyon Sadiq? Do we go that early on a tight end that it's that athletic? It might be a little bit early, but I'm a big Mekhi Lemon fan. And I think that Mekhi Lemon in that Chiefs offense would be ridiculous. Xavier Worthy, Mekhi Lemon, figure out tight end what you're doing if you really think that Travis Kelce is going to do something for you for one more year. But Lemon and KC would be nuts.
Woo! That is, I love Mekhi Lemon, so I don't hate it. 3 receivers in the top 9, though, does feel a little steep, but, I mean, we're living and we're learning. Stop saying deal with it. It's the second time you said it, 3 picks. Cincinnati Bengals. Defensive line has to be the area you look for. They need an interior defensive lineman. They could use another edge rusher with Trey Hendrickson probably leaving this offseason to pair with Shamar Stewart. You know I'm not a big fan, Joe, but I will end the slide here. I was thinking Peter Woods because their interior defensive line is poor, but I'm going to go with Ruben Bain. Back-to-back years, first-round edge rushers, but Ruben Bain's different because there's a possibility that he could end up more as an interior player down the road. So this could be a 2 birds with 1 stone, or it could be a guy that has a solid enough of a floor to at least be a part of your defensive line room for the long term.
Yeah, I like that. I like that logic there. For you got to draft an edge rusher, and I think that the multi-use ability for when you bring him in and you realize, okay, where is he going to succeed the most? Cincinnati just needs dudes, and Ruben Bain is absolutely a dude. Can
you see him eventually being like a Geno Atkins interior player if that's how he's utilized? Like an undersized interior rusher. Like there's use for Ruben Bain in a couple different alignments. Yep.
Miami Dolphins need corners. They got rid of their best corner in Jalen Ramsey at the beginning of the offseason. Let's try and find some sort of talent to add to the secondary. I really love Mansour DeLeone from LSU. He had a fantastic season this year. He took the leap that I think a lot of people were hoping to see from him, having some first-round potential last year. His instincts are great. He's really sticky in coverage, and depending on where you want to put him, I think he's one of these guys with there being a lot of importance in having a really good nickel corner. If that's what we want to prioritize, you can put him in at nickel because he's played some safety. He plays just really, really solidly in close quarters. You can put him wherever you want, and the Dolphins definitely need someone that can be flexible.
Man, I didn't know you were a DeLeone over McCoy guy, man. I was not aware of that.
I just don't know how to evaluate McCoy going in the draft this year. He's obviously back healthy, but I don't know how the NFL is going to treat him. I feel like historically when we've got these guys that sit out with injuries, the NFL doesn't respond very well to that.
Yeah, it's a case-by-case situation. I understand the logic. I actually, for Dallas, it's interesting because I'm thinking about going corner as well. I was looking at the linebacker depth chart, and I couldn't figure out if Logan Wilson's back for another year after this. I probably should have done a little bit more of a deeper dive before the podcast started. But either way, I think linebacker's an interesting one with Damarian Overshown being banged up this past year a good bit. And obviously they have a linebacker in Kenneth Murray who's not very good that's still starting for whatever reason. So I'm thinking about Sonny Styles, but I just can't get over it, Joe. I'm going to corner here. I'm going to Jermod McCoy. I think Jermod McCoy, and I understand that he's coming off the injury, but I think Jermod McCoy is a top at least 3 player in this class when healthy. I really think that he's that good. So get him now with the Trevon Diggs. They're moving on from him. They need a starting corner opposite of Deron Bland, who does a little bit of inside and out at times. Jermod McCoy, press man corner who can run for days. If he is healthy, he's still only 20 years old. I think that kid has all the upside to be a Pro Bowl corner down the road.
That kind of complicates things here for me with the Rams.
I know, I screwed you, man. I screwed you because the Rams need a corner. I screwed you.
We'll go Spencer. Is it Fano or Fano?
Fano. It's Fano, isn't it? Spencer Fano?
Spencer Fano. It's been talked about how the offensive line's been getting old. It's the one position group that needs to not necessarily need a reworking, but I think needs an injection of youth. So we're going to throw Spencer Fano into the mix for this Rams offensive line.
All right. Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens are an interesting one because they're one of these teams that...
Oh, this got to be Peter Woods, man.
Well, Joe, I was kidding there, man. Just give me a second. It's called analysis. It's called commentary.
No. For how many times you cut me off when we do shows?
Oh my gosh.
Nope.
That is absurd. I was literally about to say they are a team that has historically under Ozzie Newsome and now under the new regime, Eric DeCosta, they've always gone for best player available, and the best player available is Peter Woods. I was getting there before I was rudely interrupted. 6'2".
Put the fries in the bag, man.
300
the
210 plus
fries in the bag.
pounds. This is a young man that is a ball of chaos. Didn't have his best year in 2025. Clemson just wasn't a very good team overall, but the kid still has a lot of upside to be a really plus interior rusher. Peter Woods. Oh, this is the easiest pick. Easiest pick of all time, right here.
Yeah.
Easiest pick.
I'm going with Sonny Styles.
Yes.
Or is that not the right
you
move?
did it.
Okay.
You did it. Good job.
Okay. They love athletic defensive players that have legit explosiveness, and I think throwing Sonny Styles into that linebacker room that needs some juice to come out. It has been some time since Levante David, that we've had a real presence at linebacker for the Bucs. So to get them back to that, 1,000% trying to get that done.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. They need a linebacker desperately. I think Sonny Styles would be a great value at 15 as well, because you could argue he's a top 7-ish player in this class as well. New York Jets, we took Dante Moore with the first overall selection. Wide receiver I feel like has dried up already, right? Because you went Mekhi Lemon super early there. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, C. Concepcion?
I'm thinking, man.
Okay, C. Concepcion?
I'm thinking. They also need a corner. They also need defensive
can I
tackles.
interest you in a Kenyon Sadiq?
They like Mason Taylor, so they're going to stick with Mason Taylor for a year,
All right.
I think. Corner board, all the corners. I mean, we took the 2 top corners off the board too, right? Actually, let's do this, Joe. He's not the same type of player as Quinnen Williams, but go back to the defensive line board. I just watched Caden McDonald again, Joe. And I'm telling you, man, Caleb Banks is higher upside than him, but Caden McDonald is going to be one of the best interior run stoppers in the NFL by year 2. Like, he is a tremendous football player. So get him on the interior of the defensive line with Harrison Phillips. I think that is going to be a hard time to run the football against the New York Jets.
I've never rushed to set up my next pick quicker than the Lions being able to go and get David Bailey. They need a secondary rusher. It's been talked about for like 3 years now. That, hey, who's going to be the guy that rushes alongside Aiden Hutchinson? David Bailey, man. David Bailey, who's a little raw, showed some massive strides this year with the production that he had in the Big 12, balled out in the college football playoff. David Bailey and Hutchinson would be a scary duo.
I don't know how I forgot that David Bailey was still on the board. That was I may have gone there with Baltimore, but we live and we live, right? So let's go to Minnesota here. Corner, I am going to go with probably Avian Terrell. We'll go with Avian Terrell. He is a corner out of Clemson who's a little bit smaller than his older brother AJ. He's about 5'10"-ish. He's about 185 pounds, but the kid's ferocious. So he can play in the nickel. He can play on the outside, gives you some alignment versatility and some scheme versatility as well on the back end. Avian Terrell for the Minnesota Vikings.
So I made this comment not long ago on another show that I think that the Panthers should invest in an early pick on a tight end. And I got a lot of defense of the tight end room for some reason.
Mitchell Evans, it's what Notre Dame.
Jatavian Sanders got hurt, and Tommy Tremble is solid, but I say screw all that. I'm going to get it. If Kenyon Sadiq's on the board at pick 19, I am taking Kenyon Sadiq. Imagine the impact that could be had by adding Kenyon Sadiq in that offense. Whatever you decide to do about Bryce Young, if you want to give him one more year, you might as well equip him. And you might as well equip him with an elite athlete.
All right, so we have Dallas Cowboys here on the board. Who do we give Dallas first? They were the number 12 spot, right? Who did we give them? We gave them somebody, right? Was that corner? I gave him Jermod McCoy, right? Jermod McCoy. Yeah. So they have a corner. Linebacker is interesting, but I love CJ Allen, but is CJ Allen worth the number 20th overall selection? Like, that seems a touch high to me. Personally, they could use a running back, but Jeremiyah Love has been long gone onto the board as well. Dallas is actually in a little bit, this might be a trade back spot now that I'm just kind of talking about it out loud. Like, this might end up being a trade back spot eventually. Can you go to the edge board for me real quick, Joseph? Edge board would be very nice. No, dude, I don't like anybody there at 20. This is so bad.
Why not go CJ Allen?
I was thinking about it. I just think it's a touch high for CJ. Just a touch high.
Okay.
I'll still do it. I'll go CJ Allen. Again, they had an injury to Marvin Overshown that cost him some of this season. Logan Wilson, kind of a shorter contract here. And then you also have Kenneth Murray, who's horrible. So We'll upgrade the linebacker room with CJ Allen. Let's do it.
All right. They got to go receiver in Pittsburgh. We can't keep doing this where it's
or
just one guy.
Or quarterback.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you know what? Never mind. Aaron Rodgers is probably retiring. Okay. We're going to go with Ty Simpson. You have to take a swing. I feel like they're going to be a team that trades up, and I feel like it would be with some of these teams that need quarterbacks, if they talk themselves into Ty Simpson, the Steelers might have to be aggressive. So Simpson resets the clock a little bit. They need youth. I don't think that this is a situation where they can keep just duct taping with quarterbacks. Yeah. We got to find someone. We got to get somebody young in there.
All right, let's go interior offensive line here for the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm probably – actually, no. I changed my mind. I'm going to go with Francis Maunoa, the offensive tackle out of Miami. And I know you're going to say, offensive tackle, they have Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt that are both coming back from injury. Well, that's part of the situation here. But also, Maunoa is probably going to be a better interior offensive lineman. So he could be a starting guard for you on the next level. And in a pinch, if an injury happens to one of those two guys, he could potentially slide out and save you as an offensive tackle as well. So Francis Maunoa, offensive lineman out of Miami for the Chargers.
I got to be honest, I don't really know what to do with the Eagles.
Take best player available like the Ravens always do? I mean,
should I just take Dylan Thieneman?
What? Why would you do that, Joe? Why would you do that?
Just to add another white defensive back to the room. Man, I just don't know
only if he's allowed to join the Exciting Whites podcast. That's the only way that he would be allowed to do that. Or Exciting Mikes. I'm sorry.
The
podcast
don't know,
is all Exciting Mikes. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know who would really excite me as the best player available. Maybe it's TJ Parker.
God, I hate TJ Parker's film.
Armasa Thomas at 23 feels kind of early.
Yeah, it's early. I mean, so they need an outside pass rusher for sure. I mean, I would argue that they might look offensive line as well because Lane Johnson is on the last hoof. Their interior offensive line was not great this year. Dickerson was banged up, and then I think Tyler Steen's very replaceable at right guard. So, I mean, maybe an offensive lineman.
Well, why don't we go? Is it pronounced Ione?
I actually don't know, so don't ask me.
Okay, we're going to go with the Penn State interior offensive lineman whose name we will determine how to pronounce in the near future. Yeah, he's been a solid name that's been a riser this year. Yep. Some good quality guard options, so I don't mind that. And I think that as you talked about here, their offensive line has underperformed a bit this season. To bring in a younger guy, I think, is a strong approach. And they've been a team, too, in the past that hasn't had to rush guys onto the field. So maybe you draft him first couple games of the season, you kind of figure things out and see where he slots best, and eventually you let him take over.
Yeah, no, I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, he might be your starting right guard from day one. It's very possible. Baltimore Ravens. Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are the one that's picking. I'm going to go Casey Concepcion, the wide receiver out of Texas A&M, Joe. I think that this is a team that unfortunately Keon Coleman has not worked out. They have a bunch of solid secondary pass catchers, but I think they need a little bit more juice in that room, a little bit more after catchability, and that's what Concepcion brings, the former NC State Wolfpack, now Texas A&M Aggie.
This is a really tough spot for the Bears because they are a team that I think needs to prioritize bolstering their pass rush. They had a really unproductive pass rush this season. TJ Parker, again, is not a pick that excites me. I feel like he's not going to end up going in the first round because he just didn't take the step that we thought that he was going to. Am I reaching here if I go with Armasa Thomas? Do you think that I'm reaching here if I go with him?
He's probably more of a second rounder, but I mean, pass rushers go higher than they maybe should at times. So I mean, it's up to you, man. Whoever your flavor is at this spot, I guess.
I'm gonna go with there's not a lot of good options, so I'm gonna go with Armasa Thomas. We need some explosiveness. We need some juice. So give me Armasa Thomas.
San Francisco, this is one of my favorite pairings in the draft. I would like to go to offensive tackle, and I would like to draft Caleb Lomu, the other offensive tackle out of Utah. They are a situation right now where Trent Williams is nearing the end. He's still a fantastic player when healthy, but the injury bug is starting to catch up with him a little bit. The age is starting to catch up with him a little bit. And in case he guts it out for another couple years, Caleb Lomu has the size profile where he can potentially help at a couple different spots and learn from Trent Williams to be the next heir apparent at left tackle. So Caleb Lomu, Utah offensive tackle.
All right, so I don't know necessarily what position on the offensive line is the biggest priority, but I definitely feel
the answer is yes.
Yeah, they just need to draft somebody here. Caden Proctor hasn't officially declared yet. Goosby's going back, so that's just something to consider here. God, these options are terrible.
Man, if Connor Lew was healthy, I'd be like Connor Lew 27, but he's hurt.
Yeah.
So like, I mean,
man, do I talk myself into Chase Basantis?
If you drafted Caden Proctor here with the intention to play him at guard, I would be okay with it. But yeah.
All right, let's go with Caden Proctor. I like Basantis more than I like Proctor, but I think that's fair. A team like the Texans could talk themselves into Proctor.
Sure. Cleveland Browns. So we drafted. Wait. We
drafted a receiver earlier.
I drafted a wide receiver earlier. I gave them Jordan Tyson. Yes, just making sure that I had that in my mind. Okay. So the Cleveland Browns are a team that could go after a corner. It's very possible. They drafted a wide receiver. They need a quarterback. They need offensive linemen. So I'm going to go to offensive line here. I think offensive line is the biggest need on this roster. Offensive tackle. Oh my gosh, there's just no good options there.
No.
They're in a horrible spots because Trevor Goosby's going back. Like you said, Isaiah World's played very poorly this year. I'm not drafting Emmanuel Pregnon in the first round. I'm not doing that. Oh my gosh. Corner? Can you show me corners real quick? Ugh.
Colton Hood.
I hate this. I'll go Colton Hood, yeah. Colton Hood from Tennessee. I don't love it necessarily because I think there's bigger needs on Cleveland's roster, but Colton Hood, whose uncle was Roderick Hood, who played corner for the Philadelphia Eagles, super consistent, was like a 10 400-meter kid coming out of high school as well. He really took off this year as a redshirt sophomore in the place of the injured Jamad McCoy.
This is hilarious. Twice now, the Rams have gotten boxed out for Tennessee corners. Yes. Very specifically.
Yep.
That is tough sledding. Are there any edge rushers that maybe are worth?
What did they take with their first pick? What did we give them with the first pick?
Spencer Fano.
Okay. I mean, they need a corner for sure.
God.
Still. They need a... I mean...
I don't. Jesus. Are there any safeties
wide receiver?
That maybe they'd be
you give him a wide receiver. Devontae Adams is near in the end, right? Maybe a wide receiver?
Yeah, let's go with Chris Bell. Somewhat translatable skill set from Chris Bell, from Devontae Adams to Chris Bell. I don't know how long you think that Adams is going to be able to go, but Chris Bell is a really good player, and having him in the fold, you need someone else outside of Puka. So I'm solid on that decision making.
And in the short term too, Joe, if you wanted to play Puka a higher percentage outside, then you could throw Chris Bell into the slot as well. So some of your 3 wide receiver sets could be Chris Bell in the slot, Puka outside, and then Devontae Adams on the other side on the outside. I mean, that's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. New England. I feel like New England needs defensive line. Could be a spot that they could potentially use. That could be edge or could be interior defensive line. I'm just kind of talking through for a second. They maybe could use another wide receiver, but I don't want to draft a wide receiver after Bell.
I would argue receiver.
Yeah, but is there a wide receiver there that you would like to take in the late first round right now? Like, I don't. I'm not there with Chris Brazzell. I get it, but I'm not there with him.
Okay.
Let's go to the defensive line. Can you give me both the defensive line and the edge group for a second, both on the board? Oh man, let's do it. I'm gonna go Caleb Banks. From Florida. That length and explosiveness on a Mike Vrabel defensive line sounds pretty hilariously fun to me, and I think along with who they already have there, I think that you can do some really unique things and be super versatile, which is kind of the New England Patriot way, even when Mike Vrabel was there the first time. So I think that could be a super fun fit, and I think that it offers a lot of upside for what Banks could be with New England.
Maybe this is a little bit of a reach going with Max Clare, but I just don't think of...
Yeah, it's a big reach, man.
Any other positions. God, dude, this is going to be really weird throughout this process, trying to project who goes in the end of the first round. I think that there's going to be so many names that are going to be in the mix. So let's go with Max Clare. I'm a big Max Clare fan. I think he could be a riser this year.
Okay.
I don't know if he's
People are
announced
gonna
if
hate
he's
that pick.
declaring or not yet, but the kid's so
hate that
smooth.
pick.
I don't care. He's better. He's better than Evan Ingram.
Huh. Okay. All right. I don't have a definitive take on Max Clare. I've only caught broadcasts of Max Clare in 2025 so far. So we need to go back and do a deep dive of his Ohio State stuff. You know, I loved him at Purdue, though. Really liked him a lot. Seattle. Mm-hmm. Right. Offensive tackle, I think, just generally speaking, you just saw
They need a
Charles
receiver.
Cross. What, receiver? What are you talking about? You're a receiver. What? Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We don't know if Rashid Shaheed's coming back.
But Joe, there's no wide receiver that I want to draft there, man. Why are you just yelling for no reason? You're just yelling for no reason.
No. That's a perfectly sensible. Wait, what about Anthony Hill?
No.
No. Okay.
No. What you're just taking my thunder from me, man. You're just making.
There's no punters on here. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe we should pick
Can
a
you go to
punter.
edges real quick? Go to edges real quick. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got cooking there. I will go, even though I'm not the biggest fan, but he does have pass rush juice. I will go with Cassius Howell at number 32 for the Seattle Seahawks. You can never have enough pass rushers, and yeah, I think he fits what you need, at least on third downs. So I struggle with him from a full 3-down perspective, but Cassius Howell definitely has juice as a pass rusher. In the back end of this class, it's all right. It's okay to take.
All right, everybody. That's going to be it from us. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. Comment below what you think of your team's pick. If you like it, you hate it, let us know in the comments. We'll talk to you later.